Hello everyone, I'm Irene, and we are Team Enchante. Today we are excited to present Portage Bay, a company built to reshape the ESG investment landscape. Before we begin, let me quickly introduce our team members, Albert, Hugo, and Jennifer. Here's a quick overview of our agenda for today's presentation. We've divided presentation into five parts: background information, analysis, problem, solution, and outlook. Let's dive right in. Background information. Portage Bay is a corporation that focuses on providing reliable ESG information. Its mission is to deliver transparent and reliable ESG data to help investors make sustainable investment decisions. Its approach is to use analytical tools like statistics, algorithms, and machine learning to create data driven ESG insights. Company history. In 2019, Chow's team developed an AI system to evaluate companies' ESG performance. In late 2020, Chow, Zhu, and Doug Ching-Wu co-founded Portage Bay. In 2023, Portage Bay achieved positive cash flow, established office in Toronto, New York, and Hong Kong, and now works with clients managing $2 trillion in assets. Now, let's look at trends driving ESG investments. First, market growth. ESG investments grew from $22.8 trillion in 2016 to $30.3 trillion in 2022, a clear sign of strong growth momentum. Second, investor priorities. Investors prioritize profitability and accept ESG to deliver high long term returns and lower risks. Third, policy push. In Exhibit 3, as you can see, governments are encouraging sustainability through carbon taxes. In Exhibit 6, all professional investors are planning to increase their ESG investments. And in Exhibit 7, 80% of companies believe that ESG will influence their decision making. So that's the background and trends shaping ESG investments. Now, to explore the key problems we identified and the solution we propose, I'll hand it over to Albert. Thank you.
Thanks, Irene. Next, we will talk about the existing problems. The ESG rating system is facing some major challenge. First, there's a lack of standardized ESG rating data in the market, and the third-party rating agency are also struggle to provide objective and transparent report. This makes ESG rating inconsistent and more difficult to rely on. However, for Portage Bay, a company with expertise in ESG data analysis, this creates an opportunity. If they can develop a more objective and reliable evaluation method, they could potentially expand their market influence. Second, there's a weak connection between ESG rating and financial performance. These gaps leaves companies without a solid data to back up their investment decision, making investors question whether ESG can really bring in better return. Lastly, regulatory and compliance pressure around ESG are another major concern for the company, adding complexity to their operations. Next, we have already identified that the key problem for Portage Bay is the low correlation between ESG performance and the financial performance, which poses a significant threat to their operation. Ideally, the investor expects a strong link between the company's ESG performance and its financial result. This way, they can rely on ESG report to guide their investment decision. But right now, the evidence shows that Portage Bay's ESG rating don't align well with the financial outcomes. If ESG report fail to support the investment decision, the Portage Bay may losing its core value in the eye of investor. Next, I will pass it to Jennifer.
So thanks, Albert. So based on the previous analysis, and we have identified the key problems, but our team, we firmly believe that the core values of the ESG are significantly tied to a company's long-term financial health and development. So how are we going to do? So the first part we think the Portage could do is to reestablish the ESG rating for each industry. How? So here's an example. That takes E in the ESG as an example. If a company can reduce its energy consumption, it can achieve the following benefits. For example, like low energy cost, minimize the risk of fines or excessive taxes, like the current tax is going higher and higher nowadays, and enhance its reputation. And these improvements will be reflected in the new ESG index calculation, and linking the company's financial performance and overall developments more closely to its sustainability efforts. So how are we going to do if we need to do this? We need to obtain the authentic internal data from the rated companies. But how? The companies are afraid that they're getting a negative report. So we're going to support the companies are facing challenges in this ESG initiates. So in a short term, we're going to provide them some actionable recommendations so the company can do the things that can make them grow in the ESG trend. And we can showcase these kind of growth potential to the clients. So they're going to continue to help these companies to grow in this trend actually. In the long term, that these companies are actually grow within the ESG framework that is guided by the portage. And to the clients and investors, this is also our goal as we're going to engaging them to make them know that these ESG efforts are going to be uh, linked to the financial performance and to the development of the companies. And also because all the strategy is about about money, it costs so much that the project they cannot afford itself. So we're going to convince the clients to invest in the portage-based transformation. So our strategy have changed so much things. So we're going to do the stakeholder analysis to know if we should do any improvements in our strategy. So our clients and our potential investors are going to be happy and more interested, and that's important. But and our company rated companies, we can see that they're going to be unhappy. But we think if we go give them some actionable recommendations, it will fix the problem. And if the and we can see that the ESG regulatory bodies, the government agencies, and the general publics, the professional ESG advocacy platforms or groups, and the clients of the ESG aware investments institution or investors buying ETFs are going to be happy but worry. We're worried about the change in the ESG since it's going to be linked with the financial performance. Nobody knows that what's going to be changed and is it going to be ESG enough? So we're going to increase the transparency of the ESG rating. And now we're going to pass it to Hugo to talk about the game theory. It is about how our solutions are going to be worked.
Okay, in this page, we'll talk about the game theory, and we're trying to use this to explain how can we attract our side client to join our plan. And we will use this under assumption is that ESG is an important trend of the future and more ESG regulation are emerging. And in the table, we can see that company A evaluated company is our client and company B is their competitors. And in the left side, we can see that when all the companies they follow the ESG standard, how no matter how the regulation change, they can having a very stable business market. And if they're only our client they value ESG, they can be a leaders and also they can attract some ESG investor to invest them. And in right side we can see when our client they don't want to value ESG, but other companies do. That I think that's not a very good choice for our client because this is a very important change. And also, the last one is nobody cares about ESG, but also it cannot survive in the future because all the folks they are very care about the ESG issue. So we can say that in the future, all the companies will eventually participate in re-establish ESG rating. And then let's back to the Jennifer.
So thanks for Hugo talking about that how our strategy is going to be worked. And now we're going to talk about how our solution is going to be worked in the time framework. So in the short term, the first step that Portage Bay have to do is to reestablish the ESG rating. And also in the created company part, we need to identify and engage the companies with influence within the target investments industries. In the midterm, we're going to continue to have a good collaboration with them and also gain access to the internal data and provide actionable recommendation to in exchange, and other major companies will be follow suit based on the game theory we have said before. And also, we're going to encourage the smaller companies to adopt in the long term, and also based on our game theory we have said before. And in the short term, for the clients and the investors, we're going to communicate the value of the ESG investments to tell them that even they have the doubts, we're going to have all the transformation. And in the midterm and long term, we're going to continue have the good communication with them and gather the feedback from them. And so they are going to continue investing in Protege Bay, and also they're going to invest in the process of reestablishing ESG rating. And in the midterm and long term, what's also important is to apply for the regulatory approval for the revamped ESG system. And also in the long term, is it also important for us to address the public concerns for transparency and reducing the government's anxiety and resistance. Now we're going to pass to Hugo to talk about the outlook.
Okay, in the end, we will talk about the outlook of our plan, and we want to make a four-win situation, and there will be four beneficiaries. And the first one is the founder, just like what we talked about the Portage Bay, and they can enhancing their ESG credibility and transparency. This is their core value, so they can achieving this and also brand growth and also make some profit. And second is their client, and we say is the institutional investor. The Portage Bay can providing them some more positive investment advice and help them to make a better decision, and also build customer loyalty and scaling their business. And the third one is evaluative enterprise, and Portage Bay can help them to improve in their ESG practice quality and help them to follow the future trend and will not be eliminated by the market. And the last one is society, include you and me, all the global village. When we're having a more better environment, society, or governance, it can create a better future for everyone. Thank you. This is our report.